Taco and Antonio Delgado. These area representatives and 5 more upstate congressional representatives will discuss the federal response to the coronavirus pandemic and take questions from the public. Watch the virtual town hall tonight, 7 to 8 on News 10 ABC, Fox 23, and Hear It Here, 7 to 8 on WGY. President Trump says experts believe the worst days of the coronavirus crisis are behind us. Hosting a White House event, Trump said the U.S. economy will come back very fast. He predicted small businesses and workers will be in good shape thanks to massive government stimulus packages. Police in Niskayuna are urging residents to secure their cars and property. Been a large number of reported thefts throughout the town, according to the Niskayuna Police Department. Over the past month, numerous reports have been filed with the department where unlocked cars were entered. Property stolen, items taken from the cars include cash, credit cards, loose change, and other valuables. Some bicycles have been taken. Niskayuna police are looking at home video from several residents which display one or more suspects either on foot or on a bicycle wearing hooded sweatshirts and backpacks. For more news, listen to The Daily Dive. The big news stories explained, not shouted. Listen to The Daily Dive each day on the iHeartRadio app, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. WGY News Time, 4:34, our next update at 5. I'm Jim Gagliardi. More Sean Hannity in a minute. Make that less than 3 minutes. On News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. Capital Region's breaking news, traffic and weather station.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention all women who have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and shower-to-shower talcum products have been linked to ovarian.
To just say, I get Henry Ruggs High School an explosion for one day, and the courts were open all over the country and down there in Cali. Can you imagine running every court in every gym? You wouldn't. I don't know if you're going to be invited back to the NBA All-Star game because you dominated last time, but can you imagine just one day in that body doing those things?
No, to feel like that. How'd the Seahawks do?
Not great.
Hey, you just said the dummy factor. Everybody likes the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, kid from Texas Tech's a baller, but man, a lot of people had second, third round grade on him.
Yeah, I think he was one of my favorite picks because at least he was super productive.
Yeah.
This was a project. This was a projection draft for them. This is them saying, we're good. We're not going to have much of an off season. We're not going to count on any of these guys other than maybe Brooks to run and hit because he can do those things and he can see ball and find ball and finish at the football. But Darrell Taylor, Damian Lewis, TJ Dow, I mean, there's a lot of projects that are going to have to be developed and turn into Frank Clarks in a couple years, but they're not going to be immediate impact guys in 2020.
Crazy stuff. Okay, give me one pick that people aren't talking about that you loved, not just that he was drafted, but where location-wise, team-wise, that he was drafted to.
Ooh, I love Jonathan Taylor, man. I love what the Colts did in surrounding Phillip Rivers, the opposite of Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, Phillip's like 50 years old with 15 kids, so he's really near the end on a 1-year, maybe 2-year deal. But I love both of those picks. Michael Pittman, who's right in your backyard in L.A. in the second round there, and Jonathan Taylor in the second round. Like, those are two guys and you can ask Tom Brady in New England last year what it's like to be an old guy and not have people that make you look really good. And those two can hit home runs. Pittman just stinking loves football. Just whatever you want, right? He'll come and he'll block and he'll finish. And I just think the essence, right? You saw a bunch of programs. Baltimore had a great draft. Devin Duvernay late in the third round is just a tough sucker that's going to go and do whatever, J.K. Dobbins in the mid-second round, the 50s. You can already picture it, Doug. Like, you can close your eyes right now and say, okay, the Ravens. Can I picture Duvernay in the slot? Can I picture J.K.? Noise. What does Colin always say? Noisy. We're just noisy. Noisy teams don't win. Cleveland, noise. And this is just, to me, especially in the second round, I think he would have sat till the third, maybe the fourth.
Yeah, it was where he went. Now, if you told me, like, hey, look, we might use him in some red zone stuff. We got him as a backup. We don't have to. He doesn't have to learn a bunch. You know, we just make him into more of a runner. You know, and you know we love Carson. He does get hurt. He might. You know, it's going to have a 17-game schedule upcoming in a year. We need another guy to have. That I understand. I feel like a second-round pick was for a guy who everyone I knew said third or fourth. I don't get.
Well, he just doesn't see and process it. I mean, everybody loves Jalen Hurts, human being. Everyone does. Why wouldn't you? My gosh, what he did, you know, sacrificing and everything, and giving to a credit. You just don't see that. That was just superhuman maturity. And to go to Oklahoma and live up to huge expectations. But both those programs, by the end, right, were like, even in the national title game, we got to get the backup in because he's just not seeing it and processing it. By the end of last year, Oklahoma turned into, you know, just a 70% run team because he just couldn't see it and process it as teams made adjustments in the second half of the year. And you know, there were people there. I'm sure Bill Bedenbaugh, the O-line coach, is like, okay, let's go. Tanner Mordecai, the next guy, come on. I need somebody to get the ball out that can see the field and process. So to me, those are huge question marks. And if you can't do it collegiately, it doesn't get easier at the NFL level. So he's a mid-round kind of prospect in that way. And it's just, you know, that market, Doug. What is Philadelphia going to do? What is the media going to do? What is that fan base going to do? It's the most cynical fan base in media, or right up there with Boston and New York, and they're going to hammer it. Ooh, does Carson, the locker room like Carson? You know, does he have a relationship with Carson? Because the locker room's going to love Jalen. Everywhere he's been, people love him. And it just creates a lot of noise when it finally felt like Carson won over his team, won over his city, won over the organization, put it all on his shoulders. And this isn't like Carson's threatened that my job's gone. I got paid $30 million a year.
Right.
It's just the noise that creates at that pick. I should think it was worth it.
Awesome stuff. That's Brock Heward, college and NFL analyst for Fox Sports. Brock, thanks so much, dude.
Always fun, Doug. You got it, bud.
Pleasure is all mine. Let's get you Dan Bauer, find out what else is going on, DB. What do you got?
Doug, Bob Nightingale of USA Today is shedding some more light on what Major League Baseball officials hope could be some version of an upcoming season. Nightingale's report says Major League Baseball cautiously optimistic that they could get a season going by the end of June. July 2nd would be the latest start date where they would be able to play in home stadiums, with the season broken down with 3 10-team divisions based on geography. So you would have a mix of the NL West and the AL West playing, the NL Central and the AL Central, having those teams play together. The Rockies would end up moving to the Central, but you would have essentially 3 10-team divisions with play being held in those divisions and have an expanded playoff. Cautiously optimistic, not a final plan, but at least things looking up for Major League Baseball in their 2020 season. Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini revealed he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer last month that required surgery, and he still continues to undergo treatment. Said he likely wouldn't be able to play in the 2020 season if and when there is one. Had 35 dingers last season, hit .291, and also knocked in 97. 5-star guard Dashon Nix, decommitted from UCLA, will instead join the new G League Elite team, according to The Athletic. The report says Nix's deal with the team could be worth around $300,000. The NFL ruled Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady did not violate any offseason rule when he went to the house of offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich earlier this month. Some teams thought that he broke the rules during the dead period. NFL said that was not the case, as he was just picking up materials. This after he went to the wrong house. Steelers exercised the 5th-year option on the contract of outside linebacker T.J. Watt, and the Chiefs released punter Dustin Colquitt after 15 seasons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you believe he was just going to pick up stuff? I'm just going to check out some material. Stop by. Maybe I went into the wrong house.
You know, maybe just lingered for a while.
Yeah, I just lingered for a while. I would say, like, listen, Byron Leftwich probably slowest quarterback ever to the front door, right? Byron Leftwich is one of the least athletic quarterbacks ever, but he was carried down the field. Like, that's one of the great videos in the history of the sport, right? When he's playing at Marshall, and his offensive lineman, what happened to his leg? Did he pull a muscle? I can't remember. He's literally being carried down the football field.
Yeah, because it was faster for them to carry him
than it was for him to run.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, you heard with Brock Heward. He's not alone. Cam Newton to the Patriots? Give me my thoughts next.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. Did you know we're on YouTube? It's audio stimulation on YouTube. Just search Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio. Hit subscribe.
I'll be like, okay.
Just search Fox Sports Radio.
That's really it.
It's subscribe.
They're huge.
Now, do it. Do it now.
What's a common issue facing men, but you always want to talk about? Think long and hard. 40% of men aged 40 or older struggle for not being able to perform in the bedroom. Check out Hims and you can discover the tiny pill worthy of a big celebration. 4hims.com, the one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, ED can be optional if approved by the doctor. Product shipped directly to your door. Answer questions about your medical history and chat with the doctor for confidential review. Try Hims today, starting out with a free online visit. Go to 4hims.com/allball. That's FORHIMS.com/allball. 4hims.com/allball. Prescription products are subject to doctor approval and require an online consultation with a physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. See website for details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went in person to the doctor's office or pharmacy. Remember, that's 4hims.com/allball.
Warning, this product is Velo hassle-free nicotine pouches. It's a game changer made for game changers. Whether you're grinding in a boardroom or from your basement, producing a podcast, prepping a photo shoot, writing code, or commanding a crowd, whatever your hustle is, Velo's ready. Visit Velo.com now to find your retailer. Website restricted to age 21 plus tobacco consumers. Underage sale prohibited.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted, animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you, because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
As you and our community deal with the new way of life, working from home and social distancing and the continuing question of when will things get back to normal, we know that one of the things you might be worried about is paying your bills.
We're here to help, and we'd like to redirect your mind to a state of positivity.
We've got the 12 chances every day for you to text in and win $1,000.
We hope you and your family stay safe, keep your phone charged, and your radio on for the latest on what's happening.
We will be here with everything you need to know and another chance to get your bills paid. Coming up on iHeartRadio.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines, supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard, aired by the New York State Broadcasters Association and this station.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
With Advance Auto Parts, you get the part you need in the comfort of your garage. Order online and get your part with same-day pickup, curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. You'll proudly mow the lawn, ask if anybody noticed you mowed the lawn, tell people to stay off the lawn, compare it to your neighbor's lawn, and complain about having to mow the lawn again. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance, which, of course, will go right into the lawn. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Coronavirus, what you need to know.
A potential new treatment is emerging to help those suffering from COVID-19 called convalescent plasma. Now, it's not a new concept. It's a blood transfusion of the plasma of a COVID-19 survivor. Drew Fowlers for Vitalis says the thought is the antibodies in that plasma help the sick to recover.
We hope this therapy will serve as a vaccine substitute by helping provide severely affected patients just enough of an immunity boost to help them recover quicker.
Fowler cautions this is still very investigational, but says it's got a lot of promise. And the FDA has approved it. He says local hospitals provide Vitalis, a potential donor for a patient, and that donor then has to meet 5 requirements, which include having a matching blood type and a positive diagnosis of COVID.
for at least 14 days.
Go to the iHeartRadio app and tap the podcast tab for all the latest news and information about coronavirus. To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them.
Sports 980 and 90.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them.
Sports 980 and 95.9.
Broadcasting live from the studios of Fox Sports Radio, here's Doug Gottlieb.
Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. I do have my own opinion on Cam Newton to the Patriots. I want to get to that in a second when we get to what you may have heard earlier on Fox Sports Radio.
And now,
Every day at this time we play for a previous part of Fox Sports Radio or Fox Sports 1's coverage of sports. We pick and choose what we like, what we didn't like, what we want to talk about. Nick Wright on First Things First TV show, Fox Sports 1, had this to say on Cam to the Patriots.
So if you go to New England, rebuild some of your value, have the best coaching you ever had, the best offensive system you've ever had, the most defensive help you've ever had, and if the Patriots were to sign Cam, again, I believe Cam right now is better than Brady. Brady had them last year. They were 12-3 with a lead with a minute left in the final game of the regular season, this close to a bye. The defense isn't going to be markedly worse than last year. If they were to sign Cam, to me, they become third or fourth in the AFC behind the Chiefs and the Ravens right there. So, yeah, to me, for Cam, you take the financial haircut this year and invest in your future for future years. I can't believe I'm advising this, but if I were advising Cam, I would, I've said it before, $5 million in New England is worth more than 15 or 20 million in Jacksonville.
Okay, one, they don't have cap space. Two, they have no interest in Cam Newton. Three, Cam Newton doesn't want to play for $5 million. Four, he's not the type of quarterback that Bill Belichick or Josh McDaniels even likes. And five, this idea that he's better than Brady, no one in the NFL seems to believe that. No one. The Buccaneers had their choice. They didn't have to spend $25 million on Cam Newton. Buccaneers had their choice. The Bears traded for Nick Foles. Go through. His own head coach needs a quarterback. Former head coach who he took to the Super Bowl. There's been no interest from the Washington Redskins. None. Is some of it dollars? Sure. Is it his desire to start? Sure. Is it the thought that he doesn't throw the same? He was never accurate to begin with, and now since the shoulder problem, it looks like he can't throw a football. All of these things cause everybody else who has more knowledge as to who and what Cam Newton is, and you expect Bill Belichick to want Cam Newton? It doesn't. You can say it, and you can keep saying it. You're dealing with dated information on Cam Newton. You just don't. I mean, the perfect example is Jameis Winston. You don't have to like Jameis Winston. He threw for 5,000 yards last year. 5,000. 31 touchdown passes. He signed on to become a backup quarterback, making the third most money in the quarterback room to catch on in Tampa. And he doesn't have any. The credit score and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard limitations apply. Yes, Ryan? No. Where's it start?
Starts over under 8.5.
He's not on a team right now, Ryan.
Apparently, everyone seems to think he ends up somewhere.
It's an can wait till somebody gets hurt and he tries to sign on that one.
Well, that's
go
something to
through the
factor
teams.
in.
Go through the teams.
I agree with you.
NFC, okay? They're not getting rid of Matt Ryan. Okay? Drew Brees, they have two other quarterbacks they like better than Cam Newton. Tampa, no. And then we've discussed who's the other one in the NFC South. Carolina, who just had him and said, thanks, but no thanks, we'll sign Teddy Bridgewater for more money than you. Okay? NFC East. Giants, Carson Wentz, and they have Jalen Hurts costing nothing as a backup. You got Dak. And then the Washington Redskins, who have no interest, even though the coach is coach. NFC West. Arizona, no. Rams, no. Seahawks, no. Niners, no. NFC North. Packers, no. Vikings, no. Bears, no. Who's the other one missing in the NFC North? Somebody, the Lions, no. Right? So there's no NFC team. AFC. East. Dolphins, no. Right? Bills, no. And again, the Bills organization, they came from Carolina. They don't want them. They want them. They drafted a backup who can't throw a football. Jake Fromm. Okay, New England, no. Don't forget Jets, no. AFC West. Chargers, no. Chiefs, no. I forgot. No, they're all in on Drew Lock. Like, where are the teams? And stop saying it's going to be
At Odor Eaters want to express our deep appreciation for the healthcare professionals, first responders, and essential. If our products can help make the days ahead a little more bearable, you can find them in stores and online at Walmart, Target, CVS, or other fine retailers.
Lawn tractor, because yard work is about more than just mowing. It's about moments that last a lifetime. Like when your daughter Emily has a shot at making wiffle ball history on her. This is more than just grass. It's the stuff legends are made of. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere X300 for
This report.
Without road overpass, all lanes are open. Bad news though, heavy residual delays back towards the area of Route. Nice Chopper Market 32 Traffic Center. I'm Mike Barker.
Although we're apart these days, we're sharing more, and Geico's sharing more too, with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for both current and new customers that lasts your policy term. Visit Geico.com. Critical shortage of personal protective equipment, or PPE. PPE is the armor that our healthcare workers rely on to protect themselves. Take supplies with our guides. Supplies save lives. Help get our healthcare heroes the armor they need to keep us all safe. Go to getusppe.org to join the fight.
Hey, it's Zach Harris. To get through this together. The best way to stay healthy is to stop the spread and stay home. If you do need to leave your home, make sure you face for at least 20 to 30 seconds. We're in this together, and we will get through this. For more information, check out ny.gov/coronavirus.
Kobe, the After Show, presented by AT&T for Episode Reaction. Available wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Now, when you buy a new device, AT&T is offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup, along with a flexible return policy, so that
safely come back together. Till then, there is something you can do without even leaving your home. Respond to the 2020 census online, by phone, or by mail. The census impact for hundreds of billions in federal funding like hospitals. 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Coronavirus, what you need to know.
Out-of-work fashion designers in Southern California are jumping into the mask-making business. Nicole Rocco got to the garment district where her swimsuits are made. She was shocked at what she saw.
It was hustling. Like, imagine like a 5,000-foot facility, and it's just rows of tape.
This incentivized workers who needed a project.
So the fashion industry really rose to the occasion.
But it's been revived with the making of masks. Podcast tab for all the latest news and information about coronavirus.
WOFX Troy, WGYFM HD2 Albany, W240 EC Albany, Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM.
Driven white keyword. Thanks to 200-200. You'll get a information, text, and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this.
Start off with some news from Major League Baseball as a report from the USA Today quotes one Major League June, with the league breaking down to 3 10-team divisions. You would allow teams to play in their home stadiums, but with no fans, those divisions would be broken down geographically. He was season. Mancini hit 35 home runs last year for the Orioles. According to a report from the Associated Press, officials connected with the Tokyo Olympics believe Mancini would need to be divided this summer.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show. This is America's longest news.
Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. With the Green Bay Packers, that I'm not really sure. The average fan totally understands, reacting to kind of pure emotion, right? But infatuation over finding Aaron Rodgers' weapons. Peter King made it out like Aaron Rodgers was done wrong. First thing is, if you want to tell me the Packers don't respect Aaron Rodgers, then why the hell they give him more money than anybody in the history of the sport? There is an expression in the NFL, and it goes like, and he went grocery shopping, and he come home and like, man, why the hell did I buy that? Because I was starved. Or better yet, you know, now you can't go into a restaurant, but when you order from a restaurant and you're just starved and you pick it up and eat it, it's the first. Don't shop hungry. Don't shop hungry. You shop hungry, you're going to buy things you don't know. You just look around and you feel terrible, and you spend way too much money. And in the NFL, it's don't reach for a need. And if you thought the Packers need a team, maybe there are other young wide receivers, they're not as good as Devontae Adams, that'd be fine. First round grade, no tight ends went in the first round. No other wide receiver went in the first round grade. You don't know their draft board. So the first thing is don't reach for a need if you needed a wide receiver, if you needed a tight end. Right? And by the way, they have a good running back in Aaron Jones. Could they use another one? Sure. They take one later. They didn't catch touchdown passes or run for touchdowns when you watch football. Okay. Guess we'll find out. But I saw this tweet from Cole Cubelic, who I do think does a good job. It's very important I point this out. I don't think he's bad at his job, and this is not factually inaccurate in any way. But it lacks nuance. It lacks text. Brett Favre, 127, Dan Marino, 84, Phillip Rivers, 35, Aaron Rodgers throwing 1, Mercedes Lewis. Let's look at this list. You would think because Peyton Manning threw 293 touchdown passes to first-round picks, you would think that Manning was... Remember what Jim Irsay has said time and again? This is kind of dating back when Andrew Luck was their quarterback. You know what he said about the Peyton? 93 passes. Obviously, some of that is Denver as well. Do you know what he means? They didn't have a good enough offensive line. Right? They didn't. The fact is that Aaron Rodgers, with 3 exceptions, has been a exception. Uncuttable. He's going to be the starter for at least the next 2 years, which takes him to 37 years old. And unlike Tom Brady, he has been hurt quite a bit. Never hurt a knee. I guess he did hurt a knee a little bit. First game last year against the Bears, 2 years ago against. When they lost to the Seahawks, kind of limited their play calling, etc. If you look at this, Ben Roethlisberger hasn't had any sort of guys to throw to, when the truth is, Ben Roethlisberger had Antonio Brown. Ben Roethlisberger had Le'Veon Bell. Had played Belichick. And who's been worse at evaluating first-round draft pick wide receivers than Bill Belichick? Or wide receivers in general. Right? N'Keal Harry's a perfect example. Philip Dorsey, in comparison to Wes Welker, undrafted. Julian Edelman, I think it was a 7th-round pick. Troy Brown, where's the top pick? They don't exist. They just don't. But if you didn't have weapons, no. Even last year. That's why they let him walk in free agency, was because they had weapons. They had a good team. They didn't have a good offensive line. Offensive guy. Any NFL guy. What's the greatest weapon a quarterback can have? A good running game. That starts with the offense. Like, having a running game is not a bad word. It elongates your career. That's what the Patriots tried to do for Tom Brady. We hadn't had players running. Oh, okay, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, all second-round picks. Could they have taken one in the second round? They absolutely could have. That they don't believe in? And oh yeah, by the way, in 2014, a Packer, the wide receivers that were selected up until Devontae Adams was taken at 53 overall. You ready for it? Kelvin Benjamin, is he still? Was not nearly the player he was at Florida State. Marquise Lee, who just got cut and now signed by the Patriots. Jordan Matthews, who's had a bunch of injuries, bounced around, had some decent parts of his career, and Paul Richardson has been up and down. You know, if you think a second or third or fourth round pick would have somehow, Aaron Rodgers, your quarterback, if he's healthy, they're not winning less than 10, 11 games, which means they're not going to be in position in the right time span, right? It's all about when he's going to be good. Jordan Love's not going to be any good for 3 or 4 years. And guess what? Aaron Rodgers is essentially under contract so good that you don't want to play Jordan Love. You know what you can do? You can trade Jordan Love. And no one will know if he can really play or not. We do. Yes, Dan Butter. And the people you meet or whatever. When you're done playing, and you played at UCLA, you're part of the UCLA family. When you're done playing and you're part of the G League Select thing, what do you got? Oh, they're going to go to get a college education. That one I want to see. And I understand that Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who I think is an outstanding dude, and his son's going to Virginia. Please don't think he doesn't value education. He does. He went 1 year. He was one of the first one-and-dones, went to Cal for a year. He came back, got his degree, got a master's degree, all while being an all-star in the NBA. Right? But the part that's missing is, what school can these guys get into on their own when they don't have basketball? What reason will they have for pursuing a degree before they're 30 anyway? I think it's going to be interesting. Frank Isola will join us in a second. We'll ask him when he thinks the NBA will return, and we'll talk a little last dance with him in a second. First, let's get you Dan Byer. DB, what do you got?
Doug, we got some news from Major League Baseball. Shed more light coming up on the press in about 15 minutes, but USA Today reporting that Major League Baseball officials are feeling cautiously optimistic that in 15 minutes. More news from Major League Baseball as Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini revealed he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer last month. He had surgery. He continues to undergo treatment. Mancini said if there is a season in 2020, he likely wouldn't be able to play in it. Hit 35 home runs last season and knocked in 97 for Baltimore. Steelers exercised the 5th-year option on the contract of outside linebacker T.J. Watt. Eagles exercised the 5th-year option on the contract of defensive end Derek Barnett. Free agent guard DJ Fluker has agreed to terms with the Baltimore Ravens. He was just released by the Seahawks. Chiefs released punter Dustin Colquitt after 15 seasons with the organization. Finally, the 2021 NFL Draft in Cleveland will take place April 20.
in going to Las Vegas, when I love Michael Jordan's line, when they said, well, he says he needs a vacation. Michael Jordan said, well, if anybody needs a vacation, it's me. I'm the one that needs a vacation. And also, I didn't know the thing about Jordan playing golf with Danny Ainge after they lost Game 1 in Boston, which with them still there's something about Michael Jordan. He was probably trying to gain a little intel. I think if that's today, we're probably killing a player if he does that after you lose Game 1 and you're playing golf with the opposing team. But I'm sure Jordan was probably trying to use it as some kind of edge.
Yeah, I mean, he used to, if people forget, he used to get grief for playing golf anyway. And I mean, like, for example, Game 2, he dropped 63. Like, oh, okay, he's okay to drop. He's fine. You know, he just had this unbelievable amount of energy. It is interesting to see the rise of Phil Jackson. Obviously, you experienced the tail end of Phil Jackson with the Knicks when he was the president in an ill-fated run that really hurt on some level his legacy. Did anything surprise you about Phil?
No, and I think the Phil Jackson documentary really is going to be good because he didn't have a good run in New York, and that was the thing when they hired him. There were he didn't like them. And Bill Laimbeer was at the, kind of...
He stuck out his chest and did blow by. He clearly ducked his head, which, I mean, look, it is what it is. I think this, but you know Isaiah, okay? You absolutely know Isaiah, having done so much with his time with the Knicks. You know that if you write or say anything negative about Isaiah, this is what he does. He tries to explain it away. Well, this is really what happened. That's what he did with me. I kind of stated the reasons I didn't think he should get the DePaul job back in the day, and he called me for an hour, and he explained away everything that had ever gone wrong in his career and why it really happened. That's Isaiah Thomas. That's who he is.
Yeah, and Doug, over the years covering the Knicks, I got into plenty of screaming matches. He was just yelling to me, and I'm just standing there listening to him. And then when he calmed down, we would try to have a conversation. I've always said this about Isaiah. If the three of us were in a room together, he would make you and I feel like we are the two most important people in the world.
No. He's unbelievably charming. He has this magnetic smile and intelligence to him, but like, dude, Isaiah, like he really thinks that's why he's not on the dream team. Like,
oh, 100%. And Doug, I'll say this too, and he's told me this before. It bothers him a lot that people say Magic, Bird, Michael, whatever order you want to say that. And he always says, well, hang on a second. In the 80s, it was Dr. J won, Magic won, Larry won, and then I won. He says, Michael didn't start winning to the 90s. He really wasn't part of our era, so why do you always associate the three? And we know why everyone associates the three, because they're three of the greatest players of all time. I think it bothers Isaiah Thomas that the general public probably doesn't view him as this all-time legendary player, when you and I know that he is.
Yeah.
And who came out with the poll? Somebody came out with a list. Was it Bleacher Report? Where they had like guys like, and Steve Nash is a great player, Chris Paul's a great player, but they were ahead of Isaiah Thomas on that list. I even think Manu Ginobili was ahead of him. Are you kidding? I mean, listen, those are great players, and I love watching them play. Isaiah Thomas was a killer out there at the court. He was a 6'1" franchise player that won back-to-back championships. Who else has done that?
No, listen, he's amazing. I would counter. I mean, Steph Curry's done that, but I would.
He wasn't the best player. He wasn't the best player in his team when they won back-to-back.
No, it's fair. You know, it's also like, look, if we want to say that the Bulls' run coincided with the teams being down, you know, when the Pistons won their title, okay, the first year they played the Celtics in the playoffs, the year they won it, Larry Bird didn't play, okay, because Larry Bird was having foot surgery. Larry Bird didn't play with the first round. The Celtics weren't very good that year. Okay, and then when they played Magic in the finals, Magic got hurt in Game 2, and Byron Scott didn't series. And then the next year, they didn't play the Celtics, and they didn't play the Lakers because the Trailblazers were the team that came out of the West. So this idea,
Now, I was going to say, though, the year before, though, this is one thing about the Rodman story. If you go back to the Game 6 and they lose to the Lakers in 7 games, that's when they went back out there with a 3-2 lead. They lose Game 6 and Game 7, both in L.A.
And he sprained his ankle, and he was amazing.
Rodman takes the most ill-advised shot at the end of Game 6, which really cost them big time. And then, obviously, Game 7, the Lakers. Hey, they were a terrific team. But listen, I laugh at the two quotes from away because he wants to be liked so badly, and Bill Lambert could care less. He's like, I hated them. Well, I'm not going to shake their hand. I could care less if people, have a problem with it. Isaiah Thomas has never had a problem with it, but he knows now for his image it doesn't look good, so he's trying to explain it away. Isaiah, it was 30 years ago. It's okay that you and Michael Jordan didn't get along. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. It's okay to not like somebody. He's actually making it worse by denying all John Stockton. Exactly. Is arguably the most accomplished modern college basketball player ever, right? Back-to-back championships, four Final Fours, right? He's unimpeachable in terms of. Yeah, only beat the amateurs, right? So you have one amateur.
Isaiah Thomas by then already won a college championship. He had won 2 NBA championships, and he should have gone to the Olympics in Moscow, but it was boycotted.
I got it. Listen, again, that has to matter, right? Magic Johnson's his best friend. He didn't stand up for him. That's all you need to know. Chuck Daly was his coach. He was the head coach of the team. He didn't stand up for him. That matters. That matters. It's not just the best players, right? Like those guys had to spend months together. They had to spend months together, and
beat everybody by 40.
They would have. Right? So it didn't matter. So what mattered was like, you know what? We don't want that. We don't want to hang out with that guy for a month. Sorry, we don't. We don't know.
I have an issue. God rest his soul, and I covered Chuck Daly when he was coaching the Nets. Chuck Daly is a great coach. He won 2 championships without Isaiah Thomas.
No question.
Is Pat Riley doing that for Magic Johnson? Is Casey Jones, if he's the coach, is he going to say, wait, Larry Bird has to do that?
Listen, it has to say something. It has to say something about him. I mean, look, he was the one, Magic said Isaiah was spread rumors that he was gay. That's what led to the breakup of their friendship, right? Yeah. They used to kiss at midcourt before the NBA Finals. And now when your best friend and your coach won't stand up for you, I love Isaiah Thomas, the player. He was a great player. I'm not going to argue with you. He won 2 championships. Dude was a stud, okay? But at some point, it's about getting along and guys wanting to be on the team. And when you're trying to put together a team and Larry says no, and Magic says no, and Jordan says no, and Chuck Daly says, like, I ain't coaching the team unless that didn't happen. Sorry.
All right, so we'll call almost the dream team because Isaiah Thomas was on it. One of the greatest players in the history of the sport who had accomplished a lot by the time they picked that dream team. Because listen, Larry Bird absolutely should be on the team. He was broken down by them.
Yes, of course he was.
Barely Kabul, but I get it. They wanted Larry on the team. You ever get the chance? Ask Christian later about playing ping pong in Barcelona. It was either Barcelona or Morocco, but I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it's Barcelona, where they had a ping pong tournament. Of course, Jordan has to set up this whole thing like a tournament, and he ends up playing late in the final, and he loses to Leighton. So what does Michael Jordan do? He has the ping pong table brought up to his room, and he's practicing all the time because he wants a rematch with Leighton.
That's amazing.
How great! Give him Michael Jordan.
That's amazing. I've beat my son's brains in ping pong through the entire quarantine. Frank, we got to go. I appreciate you joining us, my man.
All right, take care.
Frank Isola joining us on Discover Card Hotline. Get your free fly. A new plan for the return to Major League Baseball, and I'll share it with you next.
We got a taste of some sort of sport, so let's all stay inside. Social distance.
The crisis we're facing now will continue to do because home is at Autos here to help. An STP extended oil filter and a $15 day delivered or free same-day pickup. This is your personal information on your laptop. And this is what happens when you connect to the coffee shop Wi-Fi. Or buy something with your smartphone. Your information can ping-pong all over the place and be exposed to cybercriminals. More threats demand more protection. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company. Norton 360 with LifeLock provides all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you device security, identity theft protection, a VPN for online privacy, and more. No one can prevent all cybercrime and identity, but Norton 360 with LifeLock is your ally in today's connected world. After all, your info isn't going to stop bouncing around anytime soon. Sign up today for Norton 360 with LifeLock and save 25% or more off your first year by going to norton.com/join. That's norton.com/join to save 25%.
The biggest names in sports radio.
This is Clay Travis, the Dan Patrick Show.
Hi, it's Colin Cowell. Fox Sports 980. Blasting away now on 95.9 FM.
With Advance Auto Parts, you get the part you need in the comfort of your garage. Order online and get your part with same-day pickup, curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts.
From nurses to truck drivers, doctors to grocery clerks, the front lines in today's
Experience a debilitating and impact ability invisible. Vestibular.org or call 800-837-8422 in your area. The Vestibular Disorders or call 800-837-8422.
Sustain the day. Helps you get motivated. Control damage.
Tap the podcast tab for all the latest news and has and guides. You should say something you.
Radio, seems to have a new plan to reemerge. Let's get to all of
Doug, July 3 divisions, 10 teams in each division. You wouldn't have an American League or National League. There is an option to mining. Fans would be allowed, but at least teams would be able to play in their home stadium.
Dodgers, Angels, Padres, all in the same division. Hey-oh.
You think about it, if you have Southern California, and then the Rockies would end up being that division. That's
Mets and Yankees in the same division. Mets, Yankees, Phillies.
The Pirates were down the division, so there was a typo because it's as far east as people think it is, even though it's in the Eastern time zone. The Braves may have to move in a different spot, but
they're in Georgia.
Yeah.
You get on a plane and go. I don't know. Fascinating.
Yeah,
if they get it done, like how it would be cool is you go like, we kind of like that next year. Run that back.
The Brewers in the Central actually have rivals from their current NL setup, and then they would be facing some of the teams they used to face when they were in the old AL East. So they'd have those rivalries as well. Officials connected to the Tokyo Olympics, according to the AP, believe the coronavirus will need to be under control with a vaccine developed if the games are to take place in 2021.
It should be, right?
Yeah, they hope.
It's just that's such a worldwide event. You know, like it's the most that you're obviously going to have, and so I think they're trying to take every precaution. France banned.
When is World Cup?
2022, and that's in Qatar, but that'll be in November of 2023.
Now, those people enslaved to build those places, build the stadiums, do they have Corona? I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. It's sad, but build those stadiums.
The dates of the 2021 NFL draft, we knew it was going to be in Cleveland. Next year, it's going to be held April 29th.
And then, Goodell did Vegas back the 2022 one.
Yes.
Goodell getting more and more tired was amazing.
The NFL ruled Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady did not violate any league rules when he went to the home of offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich to pick up a playbook and material.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know, we gotta act like these guys.
Some teams were mad. Yeah, some teams were
mad.
I don't know. That's the reports that we heard that some teams were thinking that they were violating the NFL's dead period.
Okay.
The Lakers.
I mean, Joe Burrow got all the plays, and he just got drafted like Thursday. So. How'd that happen?
The Lakers have been in contact with the LA Mayor's office to discuss the possibility of opening their practice facility for players under the current shelter-at-home orders.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, right? Because these states that are shelter-at-home, and you got teams like, well, why can't we go in there? So they got to be declared a, what's it called business?
Essential? Is that?
Essential business, right? We see the T-shirts on Essential?
Oh.
It's not Essential T-shirt, yes.
Pelican star Zion Williamson says he's in great condition and is fully recovered from his knee injury and would be ready to play in an NBA game tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I
love you.
And finally, five-star prospect Asian Nix, as you mentioned, is decommitted from UCLA, plans to sign on in the NBA's G League.
Look, forever college basketball coaches like, you know, I like the 3-year rule college baseball. You know what the problem with college baseball is? College baseball. Can you name a single player in college baseball? I think we're in an extreme time in college hoops. I don't think it's terrible to get guys that don't want to go to school and that are good enough, but the problem is 150 other kids who think that they're good enough and they don't do what it takes to put themselves in position to go to college. Hey, get out there and press.
That was the press.
Justin Jefferson tomorrow, is that right? And the Atlanta Falcons. So that'll be good. Aaron Nabler's going to join us. We'll find out what Packers Nation is thinking, right? All right, it should be good. Tune in. Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. You check things all the time. Your email, your ex's ID. Hey! Discover is now operating 5 stores inside 90% coverage for free. Check your store credit, and you can check each month for changes. The Discover Credit Scorecard is to everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
The folks at Odor Eaters want to express our deep appreciation for the healthcare professionals, first responders, and essential business employees who continue to do so much to take care of the rest of us. To all of you working harder and longer days, if our products can help make the days ahead a little more bearable, you can find them in stores and online at Walmart, Target, CVS, or other fine retailers. Thank you.
This report is sponsored by Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bars.
Size of 32 as you travel through Tahoe. Not bad as you travel on 32 through Waterbury. Exit number 4, slow transition onto exit 4. Down the north and southbound side of the north while you're good. From the WGY Price Chopper Market 32 Traffic Center, I'm Mike Barker.
Sweet and salty bars from Nature Valley are a perfect combination of sweet and salty. So take a moment for yourself out there. You deserve every last bite. Nature Valley Sweet and Salty Bars.
From the front lines of the battle against shortage of personal protective equipment will continue. PPE is the armor that our healthcare workers rely on to protect themselves, while they protect us. Help give them the armor they need and get heroes the armor they need to keep us all safe. Go to getusppe.org to join the fight.
Every home has things it needs that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app. Order it online with the push of a button and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like the Vaccinado 2000. That's exactly right. Upload Steph's funny data to the cloud for real-time optimization. Whatever that means. But really, it's just a very expensive doggy chew toy. With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Liberty, 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 Liberty. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. If you could hear a DQ treat, what would it sound like? A Blizzard treat sounds like family board game night. A Sunday sounds like an indoor movie marathon. And a fudge and crunch cake sounds like a birthday wish come true. Ah, the sweet sound of treats. Use takeout or visit a DQ drive-thru for all your favorites. Thank you for making us part of your together.
Portions of the following program will be recorded.
I'm Staff Sergeant Mark Anthony Madrid.
Staff Sergeant Samantha
I'm
Cal.
Staff Sergeant Alex
Of this great nation. I'm grateful that I have a chance to wear the uniform of the heroes
Across this nation, serve as reserve citizen airmen. To be fed. In fact, we celebrate those who have served and those who are proudly serving. We celebrate our proud history and look towards an exciting and uniting future. Our mission is to fly.
In the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
WOFX Troy, WGYFM HD2 Albany, W240EC Albany, Fox Sports 980 and 95.9
$1,000 tested nationwide. For 200, you get a confirmation test and info. Standard data and message rate supply in this nationwide.
Baseball officials optimistic their season could start by the end of June and be held in home stadiums with no fans. The league would expand the playoffs under this proposal, with the regular season consisting of 3 10-team divisions broken down by geography. Likely be unable to play in the 2020 season if there is one, making the announcement in the Players Tribune. The 2021 NFL Draft in Cleveland will take place April 29th through May 1st. Well, according to a report from the AP, officials connected with the Tokyo Olympics believe a vaccine would need to be developed if the summer games are to be held next summer. The report says the virus also needs to be under control.
Straight out of Vegas. Version, they'll take your calls after they play that game for you. My wife just brought me a lozenge, which I hope works, but my throat's a little raspy tonight, so get aboard right now. And I'll get to your calls in a minute, so I'm not going to talk that much tonight. I'll let you guys know an hour I do on radio.com. I did one of the... There's been talk today about the NFL. Start regular time, regular the second week in September, and play their regular season. But if they need to do some stuff and get out of people's way for stadiums, and for television, they may start the NFL on 10-15 and then play the Super Bowl on. That is consideration. It doesn't mean it's done. You just heard the 100 that you lost between 100 and 110 games now. There is a rift brewing between the players and the owners. The players have been paid through May 31st. Except in Tampa. I don't want to be away from the family. They're playing in for thousands of dollars a week. That's not happening. And that's why I've been on this for weeks on end, okay? Testing, look up. We haven't even tested 2% of the population. A lot of the tests haven't even worked. Of the Marshall Plan level by the federal government, where
that is even available. National Guard, military, everybody involved, and ratchet this up to the height of it being like we were invaded. If we do not do that, it will take us months and months and months to get back. And we already laid it. This should have been done. I've been screaming about this for 6 weeks. Doctors have been screaming about this for 6 weeks. We don't have the materials. I'm not spending the whole show on it, but the bottom line is until we get that, you won't have a baseball season if you don't get that. You won't have New York reopen if you don't get that. That has to happen, and it hasn't even begun. So until you see that, you don't have a plan. Now, can this plan work for baseball? We hope so. And here's the one thing I'll say. We know how tough the player association is in baseball. We know how it's the toughest union in the business. They're great fighting in court. They hear Marvin Miller in their ears. It echoed always for fear and orza. They've always been brilliant in court. We all know everything that the union's always done. Both the players and the owners have to look at what's going on in this country, and they have to realize that baseball can play a role in its healing. All sports can. And there comes a time where, as billion-dollar owners and millionaire players, okay, you show that you're grateful for what you have in life. And you realize in a country where 50,000 have already died from this virus, and 1 million have already been inflicted, and where you see people who are working for minimum wage risk their lives that they can get infected by this thing, and go to work every day and work in hospitals and feed people and clean the hospitals and carry the garbage and do everything they have to do. And you know what? They can sit home and get unemployment. And they don't. Because you know what? They weren't made that way. In this country where you're seeing that kind of sacrifice, if you can't see some sacrifice and generosity from both the owners and the players in baseball, then the hell with both of them. And I'm telling you, these are the words you're never supposed to utter on the air as a broadcaster. If that happens, don't ever buy another ticket, because they're not worthy of it. There comes a time where, you know what, it's not a sacrifice, it's the right thing to do. You know, and I'm not using this for any reason. When everybody came to FAN and they asked anybody who made money to give up part of their salary so that other people kept their jobs, not one person balked at it. Not one. Everyone said yes. Some even said, can I do more? To have baseball players, if they dare hold out for every dollar, good riddance. We'll take your calls when we come back.
With the 1010 Wins Coronavirus Update, I'm Larry Mullins. The number of new hospitalizations in New York attributed to COVID-19 dropped below 1,000 for the first time in over a month. With schools closed and social distancing rules still in effect, New York will hold a single online ceremony for graduating seniors from public high schools this year. For 24-hour coverage, go to 1010 Wins or tell your smart device to play 1010 Wins.
To all first responders and essential personnel, WFAN wants you to know how people feel about you.
I'd like to give a big thank you and shout out to all the men and women of New York Strongest, the Department of Sanitation of New York, who are constantly cleaning the streets of New York, picking up all the garbage and recycling, and making the city safe and clean.
We'll get through this together. Thank you. From Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66, WFAN and WFAN FM New York, a radio.com sports station. Stay connected.
This is Greg Giannotti. We need to remind everyone that we are not there yet. We all still must work hard at supporting all of our frontliners. please do your part and stay home. Be smart, be safe, and be unselfish. Practice social distancing, wash your hands. All of us working together can and will defeat COVID-19. A reminder from all of us here at the Fan. See why Mercedes-Benz of Edison is more than a dealership, but a destination for exceptional customer experience. Their service center is open, stringent sanitizing is underway, they can pick up and deliver to your home, and all other inquiries can be made by calling or going to RayCatinaEdison.com.
To all of our healthcare heroes at Nassau University Medical Center and A. Holly Patterson, to all of our first responders, to all of our civil service employees, and to all of the families whose loved ones leave home each day, Ron Guerreri, president of CSEA Nassau Local 830, joins everyone in saying thank you for your dedication and for putting your lives on the line to save others. CSEA Nassau Local 830 keeps Nassau safe and running. We are Nassau Strong.
This is our home. We've never seen it look quite like this.
But there's no mistaking it. And it's our job to protect it. So if you've just bought a Volkswagen, or were thinking of buying sometime soon,
We and the more than 600 VW dealers across America are here to help with the community-driven promise. For more information, visit VW.com. Drive bigger.
Hey listeners, we know how important it is for you to stay connected during this time. That's why our friends at Optimum are here and ready to support you. Their network is prepared to meet the demands of your homes and businesses. So whether you're working from home, connecting with loved ones, or taking classes online, you don't want to miss a beat. I know personally I've been using my internet now more than ever, and thanks to Optimum speeds up to 1 gig, I'm able to stay connected to all of you. For more on what they're doing, visit optimum.com/keep you connected.
At Sprint, our priority is keeping our customers, employees, and communities safe. During these uncertain times, we want you to get the great service you expect without leaving the safety of your home. Sprint.com makes shopping easier by offering free next-day shipping and no activation fees on our best new phone deals, like a Samsung Galaxy phone. Lease it for just $0 a month when you switch. And when you shop on Sprint.com, you'll get a $100 prepaid MasterCard too. For now, Sprint.com is the best way to learn about our plans, buy new phones, and get the services you need. Stay healthy and go to Sprint.com or call 800-SPRINT1 today. Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus $0 per month, up to $35.42 per month credit. Apply within 2 bills. Requires 18-month lease. New line service and approved credit. If you cancel early, your remaining balance due. Offering coverage not available everywhere. $30 activation fee, taxes and restrictions apply. $100 prepaid MasterCard requires port and online registration. Ships after 45 days. Card terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Member FDIC.
During this uncharted time, PASCAP Scrap Metal has remained open as an essential service. PASCAP is open for you to offload valuable recycling materials. PASCAP Scrap Metal is committed to supporting customers with modified receiving hours and respect for COVID safety with the highest prices at $7,200.
As the COVID-19 pandemic reshapes life in America, it is essential that everybody protect everybody's most basic human right to nutritious food. Why Hunger is activating the Rapid Response Fund to provide immediate economic relief and direct support to the people most impacted by the hunger and poverty that is so apparent during this crisis. If you need assistance, 1-800-5-HUNGRY. If you want to donate, it's the same number, 1-800-5-HUNGRY. 1-800-5-HUNGRY. If you have, call 1-800-5-HUNGRY and they'll take care of you. Okay? We've been involved with these people for a very, very long time. They are very good at what they do. Every year at Thanksgiving, you've heard me plead their case. I know their work. I know the people very well. They do a wonderful job. They are always essential. They've never been more essential than they are now. So, again, 1-800-5-HUNGRY. If you need their help, they're there. They will get you what you need. You don't know where to turn to them. If you can't feed your family, don't go somewhere else. Call them. 1-800-5-HUNGRY. And if you have more than you need, you know what? Then just give anything you can. $1, $2, $5. They can use it. Food is in short supply right now. You know there's issues right now with things going on at meat plants, at things going on with different parts of the food cycle. Okay? I mean, even the delivery system, I mean, you have farmers destroying food because they can't get it delivered. Destroying milk because they can't get it delivered, and places need milk. Think about that. Think about the craziness of just the perversity of that possibility that you have farmers destroying food and destroying milk because they cannot get it delivered. And how delicate that cycle is. And there's places where they're out of food. And there's lines for food. And there's a lot of people unemployed. Not everybody's got a check yet. And that system takes time. So if you don't have somewhere to turn, 1-800-5-HUNGRY. And if you are fortunate that it hasn't knocked at your door, well, get what you can. George in Long Island starts us off. What's up, George?
Michael, first thing, I'm a first responder police officer here down here in Nassau County. We've met several times, and I just want to say a couple of things to the men and women who are running at it instead of running away from it. Thank you, God bless you, and stay safe.
Absolutely.
Aiming to you, Mike, what you just said about Major League Baseball players. People
have a heart. I mean, please. I mean, listen, they're lucky enough to have the lives they have. And listen, nobody takes it away from them. They have great talent. But, you know, sometimes you gotta sometimes be aware of what's going on in the world. I mean, if they're gonna fight over millions and millions and millions of dollars while people don't have, there's 25 million people that don't have a job. I mean, come on.
Mike, you know what? You give back what you can give, like you just said, to the food banks. Family has food on the table.
And somebody, again.
What about the minor?
Thanks for the call. Be well.
I agree with you with the whole players thing, but I mean, I don't want the money going back to the owners. Where does that money go that they forfeit or give up?
Listen, it's not about that. It's about this. Look, the money's not there. The question is coming out and playing for less. The money is not there right now. So I owe you, I have a contract where I owe the players $150 million in payroll. But I'm not making half my revenue. So I'm saying, listen, you got to play ball here. We want to play the season, but you got to be reasonable. If the players say, you're paying me in full or we're not playing, that's not having a clue about what's going on in this country. There's got to be a time where, and listen, the money's not there right now. Otherwise, they would contractually have the money. The question is shutting the game down or bringing the game to the country, which can use the game right now at maybe 50 cents on the dollar. That's the idea, okay? That's the idea, because the baseball, a lot of their revenue comes from gate receipts. And they're probably going to be playing in front of empty stadiums. Now, the players should get paid something. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they're not going to make all their money. As some owners have said, is I'm not going to come back and lose $300 million. I'm not going to come back and lose $300,000 a week. I'm not going to do that. So the players have said, we made our deal. We get paid in full. We agreed to $170 million for the first 2 months. We now get paid in full, or there's nothing to talk about. Well, if there's nothing to talk about, you know what? Then everyone should just tell baseball to get lost. If there's nothing to talk about.
How strong do you think they're digging their feet in on this?
I think that they will be. I think they're going to talk tough in the beginning, Paul, and I think they'll give in, because I think they realize that, at least I hope they realize that that's a fight they can't win with this country.
Yeah.
The people will turn on them so badly. The people want baseball back. They need baseball back. Baseball can help heal this country. I mean, it's a positive. It's something people look forward to. It serves a purpose, and if you serve a purpose in that regard, hey, the nicest thing somebody can say to you about, and thanks for the call, about doing a show is, you know what? I'm glad you were there to listen to. I appreciated you being there because it's a diversion or it's entertaining or whatever. You serve on the air doing that, okay? And sometimes it's not about. And listen, I was bringing up when the company came and said, hey, we're going to have people our top earners, not one person said no. Every person said yes. No, not one person. Merv in Manhattan, what's up, Merv?
You are thank you a lot to all of the people that enabled me to stay in my apartment.
I agree, you know what, and
you know what I mean? They're not, I say, you didn't go to work. I kid around with them because we try to make humor. I say, you didn't go to work on a limousine, did you?
Hey, that's why people said, why, someone said to me, why are they dumb enough to keep the trains and the subways open? I said, well, how would the people who are going to work for minimum wage get to work if they didn't have the subways and the trains open? The people who are keeping the places open, that are keeping things running, like hospitals and sanitation guys and people who clean the hospitals and people who stock the shelves in the grocery stores, they don't go to work. They don't go to work driving their own Mercedes. That doesn't work that way.
Amen. Anyway, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We've given to those food banks.
Well, yeah, listen, they do a great job. Listen, I always do. Well, thank you.
Hey, keep up the good work.
Thank you. And listen, I have a relationship with those folks. They do a wonderful job. And I've always felt that only thing I ever asked about where I donated money was that the money got to where it's supposed to get to. And that's what I always liked about the Tomorrow's Children's Fund is I always knew the money was going where it was supposed to go. And the same thing with this, they're not going out to dinner and, you know, entertaining people with the money. Driving around in limousines. They're putting the money where it's supposed to go. They're putting the money to work. And that's all you ask. That's all I've ever asked for out of somebody I'm donating money to is I just want to know the money isn't going for somebody. You know, I don't want to go to a charity where 65% of the money or 50% of the money is going for expenses. All right, that's a gimmick. That's not a charity. You want the charity, all right, now, and it's not so much as, hey, you know they have to be 501c because Peter had the he still can be spending a lot of money. You want to make sure why hunger, okay? The people running that, their heart is in the right place. I don't care who it is. Springsteen has been incredibly challenging. But Harry Chapin did every other concert in his life for charity. Every second concert was completely for charity. I've never heard anything like that. Ever. That's on a different level than anything I've ever heard. I mean, that's just remarkable. Abby in Jersey, what's up, Abby?
Hey, Mike, what's going on? I remember about 8 or 9, maybe even 10 years ago, you mentioned that you're a Bengals fan.
A what fan?
Never really discussed a Cincinnati Bengals.
Never said that. Not once, sorry. Not me.
Which team do you like in the NFL?
I've never been, the only team I've ever really rooted for was the Giants. I've never been a Bengals fan, sorry. I never was, sorry. Not me, sorry. But that bangs. You know what? Not really. I mean, I've never had a real. The only team in my life that I've ever been completely crazy about is the Yankees. That I've been with my whole life. Other than that, I rooted for people. I rooted for the Giants when I was a young kid. When I was a little older, and the Giants were terrible, I loved Roger Staubach in college. So I have to admit, when he played in big games, I pulled for him because I always loved Roger Staubach. After that, I rooted for people. When Bill was with the Giants, I rooted for him. It was more about people, except for the Yankees. With the Yankees, I rooted for the Yankees no matter what. I've always rooted. That's the only team I've ever had where I rooted for them all the time. In other sports, I really rooted for people. I really didn't have teams. The only team I really had in my whole life was, as far as just my whole life, is the Yankees. Nick in Guilford, what's up, Nick?
The article you were citing today made me think of the fact that every single date and plan that's been brought up to this point has lost against the virus. You know, there were plans about this and that. So I don't understand why the federal government is not fully 100%.
I don't get it either. Listen, Nick, I don't get. Someone would have to explain to me why 5 weeks ago They did not, when every doctor, whether you listen to Gottlieb, you listen to Fauci, you listen to Hazeltine, you listen to any of these experts, every one of them says there will have to be massive testing and tracing before we are through with this. The players are telling you that they will not come back unless that is in place. What is the nation waiting for? I have no idea. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think the reason is they can't do it and they don't want to admit they can't do it. That's the only thing I can answer to, is they don't have the ability to create the system. They don't have the goods. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the ability to create the testing system they need, is the only answer that I can come up with.
I don't know. I think that leadership plays a big role. But
listen, I cannot disagree with that for 1 minute, and that's why, like I said, and I don't want to turn this into a political thing, okay? But the point is, here is a perfect example, and thanks for the call. Here is a perfect example of what I have screamed about for years. It's been one of my pet things in government, and I'm a big presidency guy. I follow the presidents. I like presidential elections. I follow it very closely. I have always believed that I believe this my whole life. And I even presented this in college when I was in college. Never be spent by a president in office fundraising or thinking about a second term. Every thought should be allowed to be reelected. It should be 1 6-year term. A lot of things need to correct. The first thing they need to correct is learn the good reason.
And they're all, let's face it, unique. One would be having the Super Bowl pushed back from February 7th in Tampa. Possibility. The regular season. Here's the bottle change anytime soon.
As a nurse, so I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
Ugh, those nachos were rough on my stomach.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion,
Try Pepto-Bismol liquid caps for fast relief and ultra coating. Pepto-Bismol liquid caps. Use as directed.
Let's Stop HIV Together is a national campaign to help end HIV stigma. When we support those living with HIV, we make it easier for them to take the steps needed to stay healthy. Learn how to stop HIV stigma in your family and community. Visit www.cdc.gov/together.
Not everything is closed. Here are just some of the people open for business. Enzo's Pizza of Garden City, Ram Caterers in Old Westbury, New York, Amity Ales in Amityville, New York, Cassidy Ale House in Elmhurst, New York, Sid's All-American in Glen Cove, New York. If your company is open for business, let us know at WFAN.com/open for business. WFAN is helping New York stay connected. For more, go to radio.com/stay connected.
During this unprecedented health crisis, in support of our community and its essential workers, Nielsen Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram service and parts operation will remain open daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. but will be closed on weekends. Online scheduling and more info can be found at nielsendodge.com. Their thoughts and prayers are those that have been affected by this disease. From everyone at Nielsen Dodge, they ask you to be safe, stay healthy, and look out for each other.
There's the 1-0. Swung on a little bloop in the infield to A-Rod. Makes the catch. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. The New York Yankees have defeated the Phils in the first game in Philadelphia by the score of 8-5.
And a very good evening, everybody. I am Susan Walton. I am in my home in Westchester, and John Sterling is in his home in New Jersey. And tonight we are going to bring you Game 3 of the 2009 World Series. That was a Saturday night. That was the 31st of October 2009. The Yankees won that one 8-5. They had to come from behind. It was Andy Pettit against Cole Hamels to begin with. And tomorrow night, with Game 4, we're going to have Mark Teixeira on with us at 6:30. But John and I, we haven't talked to fans, and I don't know, I'm getting tired of talking just to John and to my dog. So we'd love to talk to you today for this half an hour before this game. 877-337-6666 is our number. And let me bring in the voice of the New York Yankees, my partner, John Sterling. How are you this evening, Mr. Sterling?
Well, I'm wonderful on this beautiful, beautiful day. And, the biggest thing is for, Susan, for you and for myself and for everyone who listens, use the mask and gloves and stay away from this virus and let's get over this thing. Eventually we will. Eventually we're going to win out in what is really a world war. Well, tonight, as you said, we're playing Game 3. They had split the first two games at Yankee Stadium. Quickly beat the Yanks. Tough on the Yanks. And in this game, as Susan mentioned, they had to come from behind. In my memory, this game, Susan, is a line drive by A-Rod to right. And I don't think it was called a home run. But then when we looked at the replay, the ball went over the wall, hit TV camera, and came back on the field. And then after looking at it, they did call it a home run. So that I remember, and you remember that the Yankees had to come from behind in this game.
Well, because Andy Pettitte gave up 3 runs, not early, but in the what was it? It was the bottom of the second inning. Jason Worth started off with a home run, and then a double by Felix, a walk to Carlos Ruiz, a bunt single by Hamels himself, a walk to Rollins, Felix scored, and then a sac fly by Victorino. And you're right, it was the 4th inning, a walk to Teixeira, and then A-Rod hit that 2-run home run.
So forgot it about 3. Before why don't you run through the team
with Players Association? Okay, so but let's heard July 1st, which leave you, in their own major league parks. No, there will not be fans in them, but they will be home. They won't be in Florida, Dallas, and Arizona. That's going to be a big sticking point with players who have already said, the biggest players in this game have already said, I'm not going to Arizona for 4 months away from my family.
Right.
But if it works, you would play in your own stadium. And the East would be the Yankees and Mets, the Red Sox, the Nats, the Orioles, the Phillies, Angels, the Giantry would be Tigers. And what this would play it, you could have your families with you. And please, John and I, nothing is going to happen until there's enough tests I've heard that makes any sense at all.
Well, and the Red Sox and Washington and the Phils and Tampa, there are a lot of good teams. And I it is safe. No one, including the players. They don't want to get the virus. So I think that's going to be one large step before we can get back at it. But anyway, if you ask me, am I intrigued by these 3 different divisions? Yes, I am. I think it would go very well. The travel would be much easier, obviously. The furthest we go would be Tampa and Miami. And the rest of the cities really pretty darn close.
Well, we'd love to hear your information, your ideas on any of this, and obviously on how is everybody out there. I was only not kidding at all when I said the only person I talked to is John and my dogs. I'm out here in the woods, so I really don't have a lot of people to talk to. But 877-337-6666, and I am told we have to take a break, and we'll be right back here on WFAN.
This is an important message about coronavirus. With coronavirus spreading, we must all act now to slow it down. Even people who aren't showing symptoms can still spread the disease. So it's important for everyone to take precautions. To help slow the spread of coronavirus, stay home as much as you can. If you must be out, stay 6 feet away from others and wash up after being in public spaces. Together, we can help slow the spread. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information from the CDC. For more, go to radio.com/stay-connected.
Doctor's log, hell date 2020. Right now, health and medical industries are feeling the the pressure of the COVID-19 outbreak. Doctors are feeling that pressure. Nurses are feeling that pressure. I'm definitely feeling that pressure. And so I wanted to capture some of this journey. It's a log of this scary adventure we're all on together. I'm Esther Chu, MD, and this is my doctor's log. Go subscribe on radio.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
CVS Pharmacy delivers. And right now, to meet the needs of the current health situation, we're offering 1 to 2 day delivery for free. Get prescriptions and other everyday essentials like vitamins, allergy relief, snacks, and more from your local CVS. We understand your concern, and this is just one of the ways we can help you to be prepared and stay well. Visit CVS.com or call your local CVS pharmacy to get started. Restrictions apply. Offer valid on orders with a prescription.
From the 1010 Winds Traffic Center, I'm Greg Rice with the SupplyHouse.com Fan Highway Patrol. In the Bronx, southbound Egan shut down right under the cross Bronx. Got an earlier crash, 2 cars caught fire, and what a mess that made. Northbound Egan, you also had a bit of a closure through that area as well. That and the new long-term construction, it's all got you backed up from Grand Concourse. Queens, eastbound Belt, getting out towards the area of the Van Wyck. An 8-car crash slows you down from Brooklyn. Plenty of westbound rubbernecking, and the eastbound Long Island Expressway loaded up into Queens Boulevard. Multiple accidents have multiple lanes knocked out. Jersey City, they're still tending to that water main break in Charlotte Circle, so you've got Truck Route 1 and 9 and Route 7 closed getting through the area southbound. Tonnelle Avenue, Broadway also with closures. Holland take the Newark Bay extension to and from. You'll be fine. Lincoln's okay, as is the inbound George. I'm Greg Rice with the SupplyHouse.com Fan Highway Patrol.
To our valued customers and friends from the Ricatina family of dealerships throughout our history, Americans have met adversity with courage and resilience. We believe that together we will get through this. We can now offer a touchless process, allowing you to shop for a vehicle online or by phone. We'll arrange delivery to your home or at one of our service centers, which are open. The Ricatina Auto Group would like to thank all doctors, nurses, and essential workers who are keeping our community strong. Our heartfelt wishes for a brighter tomorrow.
Feeding America's network of food banks helps millions of Americans every day. But in times like these, more people than ever are facing hunger. So join our partner, Subway Restaurants, with a simple new way to help. Subway will donate 15 million meals, 1 meal for every footlong purchase through April 30th. Help us feed our neighbors in need. Subway will donate the monetary equivalent of 1 meal for every footlong sold up to 15 million meals to Feeding America. 1 meal equals 10 cents up to a maximum of $1.5 million. See subway.com/COVID relief for details.
This is Maggie Gray. We need to remind everyone that we are not there yet. We all still must work hard at supporting all of our frontliners. Please do your part and stay home. Be smart, be safe, and be unselfish. Practice social distancing, wash your hands. All of us working together can and will defeat COVID-19. A reminder from all of us here at The Fan. Along with John Sterling, 877-337-6666. We'll get everybody in, I promise. Mike in Bayside, you're first up on The Fan. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Susan. How's everything? And I feel for all the people who are out of work. I really do. But a guy who lives in New York City, who looks in blue and white, but lives in Queens, so I bought a half a season with the blue and orange. I'm not going to mention the teams, you can figure it out. We know there's going to be no games here in New York City, and if there is, it's going to be without fans. Why is Major League Baseball blaming the Mets, and the Mets blaming Major League Baseball? I want my $2,800 back. I'm very upset at this. What are they doing? I'm going to hang up and I'll listen to you.
Well, he wants his money back, and I don't blame him.
One of the things that I think, Mike, and I know that this has been in all the papers and people are doing that. I think one of the things is now, if you look at the teams there might not be an awful lot of cash to give all their money back. So that's a lot of people. That's going to happen. What I don't like is that, you know, it's been sitting in. I wouldn't like it either if it's sitting in their bank. That is sitting in their bank and not in your bank. You can use the money more than they can probably. But it's not. And I understand it, and I've heard it, and it's all over the league. And they're going to have to get with something. Baseball is trying to get that all worked out. That I do know. I don't know, you know, how soon that's going to get going, because all these teams are pretty cash strapped at the moment. Okay, let's go to 877-337-6666. Let's go to Tim in Bethel, Connecticut. You're next up on the fan. Hi, Tim.
Hi, guys. How are you? Just want to let you know that for the past X amount of years, you have been with me every Sunday and Saturday afternoon after I cut my lawn, so on and so forth. However, the only thing I really don't miss about baseball, it's been such a brutal April as far as the rain and the cold, and I don't think either one of you would have enjoyed, or me, which I usually got I get early day game tickets, and would have enjoyed the weather. So, but thank you again for being with me over the past 2 years.
Okay, well, thank you. By the way, you know, you heard that traffic report. I can give my traffic report because I can look at the West Side Highway, and the West Side Highway is doing just great in both directions. There, my little traffic tip of the night. Let's go to another call, Susan.
Okay, Mark in New Jersey, you're next up on the fan. Hi, Mark.
Hey, listen, the family, first of all, during this. But I have a question about the baseball alignment, which you just mentioned. I've always had this problem with Atlanta being in the West back in the day. You remember that? But now they want to put Atlanta in the Central? No, and not the East Coast? You said...
Oh yes. Oh, Atlanta.
Well, I'll tell you, sir. Atlanta is not east. Atlanta is the last city before it goes to Central. Birmingham, for example, is on Central Time. And Atlanta is basically underneath Toledo, straight down to, I lived in Atlanta for 8 years, that much I do know. And so, yeah, they can easily be in the Central. It was, when I was there, of course, Atlanta was in the West, and we had to go to San Francisco, San Diego, and LA 3 different times. But anyway, Atlanta would be a Central team.
And you know what else, Mark? It's also just for this year. I mean, they're not...
Yeah, I mean, don't fall all over. First of all, I only wish that it happens, because if it happens, it means that we exploded this virus. So, you know, I hope.
Thank you for your call. Joe and Dobbs Ferry, you're next up on the fan. Hi, Joe.
Hi, John and Susan. So nice to talk to you guys. You know, John, when I look up at the sky a day like this, I have a hard time not thinking how beautiful of an azure blue sky. I think... the weekend games the most. You know, usually I have you guys on at the 1 o'clock game, and without it being there, it's a little weird.
Weird for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was just remembering back to that Andy Pettit single. I remember I was in a band, my friend Bobby Hume. He was so excited when Andy put on the warm-up jacket. He was having flashbacks to the Dynasty years of the mid-'90s when Andy finally got on base that day.
That's right. Andy was excited about it, too.
What I was going to say is I think the teams are going to have a hard time paying these guys because they're not going to have their revenue coming in, and it's not like they got that money sitting around to pay these guys. It's a lot of money.
Well, one thing, sir, you're nice to worry about the players. Don't. They're doing well. The teams are doing well, and they'll figure it all out. I mean, yeah, that's true. Of all the things to worry about, and that would be the least, you know. Right. I
don't know, but I mean, worry about. I don't know how they would work it out.
Get it.
Well,
I don't know, but they'll work it out, and I'm not involved in it, so I'm not involved in it. I'm not going to get any of that money, so, you know, I have 4 kids in college. I have my own stuff to worry about. But anyway, I don't worry about that. They'll all be okay.
You know what? If they worry about that, here's the thing, and everybody has been talking about this. If These guys, they're not working for $1.98. They're not. And if games are being broadcast, that means that they are getting money from WFAN, from the Yes Network, from CBS for the Mets games, and they'll find the money. The problem is, what I don't like seeing is the union and the Major League Baseball bickering over money. I mean, there are millions, tens of millions of people in this country that are wondering how they're going to put food on the table and how they're going to pay their rent.
Absolutely. All the doctors and nurses and frontline hospital workers and police and fire and the stores that are open, groceries and supermarkets. There are a lot of people who are out of work, so I wouldn't worry about the players too very much. Let's go to our busy phones.
Okay, let's go to our busy phones. Milton in Brooklyn, you're next up here in the fan. Hi, Milton.
Hey guys, how you doing, man? This is the Cowbell man from the Right to Bleachers, and we miss you guys so much.
Oh, you're the guy.
Yeah. It's tough to hear this money thing. I mean, I'm suffering for my daughter because she's a senior and she's not going to be able to have her.
Oh boy.
Trying to ride